Hey all, Bree from the No Guilt Mom podcast, and I have got a gift for you this holiday season. If you love the No Guilt Mom podcast, and I mean love the No Guilt Mom podcast, then tell us about it. Leave us a review, and you can be entered to win a No Guilt Mom gift card. All you have to do is leave a review, take a screenshot, and then simply go to noguiltmom.com/review to enter our giveaway for a free No Guilt Mom gift card, simply for telling us what you think about the podcast. It is amazing. But don't delay. Get right on this, as we're going to be giving away that No Guilt Mom gift card on December 21st. So get right on over and visit noguiltmom.com/review.
Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast. I am your host, Joanne Crone, and thank you for joining me for this little 15-minute nugget of an episode. Today, we're going to be talking about some mom hacks that stick and work with ADHD. And shout out to Rhonda, who is an attendee in our Mom Ignited Summit. She posted in there that she was looking for hacks like these. And I thought, oh my gosh, what a great podcast episode. So hi, Rhonda. And if you have not yet joined the Mom Ignited Summit, what are you waiting for? It is a free ticket. I'm putting the link in the show notes. Please come and join us. Officially, it starts October 9th, but we are having a pre-party in there with tons of games and prizes, bingo. You're missing a lot. You're really missing a lot. I don't want to put that FOMO in there, or maybe I do, because you need to come over to the summit. So enough about that. Here at No Guilt Mom, our mission is to help you go from martyr to model so that you're the role model showing your kids what a fulfilled adult life looks like. And that's you pursuing your own joy, your own passions, and maybe you need a little help figuring out what that is. And that's where we're here to help. Today's episode, I am super excited about because I have ADHD. I am a woman with ADHD where my symptoms have shown up ever since childhood. My ADHD is mixed a little bit with anxiety. I remember I was 8 years old. My mom was late coming home from work, and I just remember pacing up and down the sidewalk in front of our house, looking around the corner of our street and waiting for her little white car to come around that corner. And that feeling in the pit of my stomach that something bad had happened, when really she was like 5 minutes late and I just stopped at the grocery store before she came home. But I have many instances of that in my life where this overwhelming emotion has just crippled me. Like I can't think when I have that much anxiety. And I recently got diagnosed with ADHD based a little on that anxiety and also learning more about how ADHD shows up in adult life. Honestly, it was always with me. I was that girl shaming myself for not being able to pay attention in class. I would go every day into social studies or government in high school. And I tell myself, okay, this is the day I'm going to pay attention to the entire thing. And I sit down with the best of intentions. And all of a sudden my mind goes somewhere else. Just like one little thing can spur a totally different thought in my head. And then I start going down this little rabbit hole where 5-6 minutes later, I'm back and I'm like, oh shoot, I have missed completely what the teacher's talking about. And I have no idea how this relates to what they were talking about earlier. And I struggled with that all through school. Maybe some of this sounds familiar to you, or maybe you already know that you have ADHD and you struggle with attention and you struggle with huge emotions. And maybe you have a challenge to stay organized. It's common. One other thing that is really, really interesting about ADHD, it's called rejection sensitive dysphoria. And it is this tendency to feel severe emotional pain with feelings of failure or feelings of being rejected. And it can also manifest itself in rage, which I think has a lot to do with parenting. Because when you have a kid who is not listening to your requests, you feel rejected quite a lot. And that can also spur some pretty intense emotions. Now, know with all of this, I'm not a therapist. I am a teacher first and foremost. I like to read. I like to research. I like to find out all I can about things. And so for this episode, that is what this is going to be. This is my research I am showing to you in a fun way because we're fun here at No Guilt Mom. And it's also me teaching and me just sharing what works for me. So you ready? Okay, here's your first mom hack when you have ADHD, because it's really hard to stay organized and it's hard to stay focused. So the first thing I recommend, and I'm actually going to give you a rundown before I give you all 5. You ready? So number 1, buy experiences, not objects. Number 2, use a timer for the things that you don't want to do. Number 3, body double when you have to do some work. That's a great strategy. Number 4, put everything you can on autopilot. And I'm going to give you some specific examples of things you can put on autopilot. And then finally, number 5, give yourself permission to drop what you can't handle. Okay, you ready? Let's get into this. First of all, number 1, buy experiences, not objects. Oh my goodness. So going to this whole tendency we have of getting distracted, I know that when I have a mess around me or I just have a lot of stuff I need to sort through, be it the mail, be it I just went to a conference and I have this huge pile of swag to sort through, I don't do well. I don't do well at all. Like so much, in fact, that when I go to conferences lately, I don't get the swag. I'm like, that could stay right there. We don't need that. Because the mere thought of making a decision with all of that completely overwhelms my brain. And also, when I have that stuff, then I have to go and organize it. And I'm not good at organization. I lose interest like halfway through the project I'm working on and would rather go and put my attention on something else. So this goes a lot with kids stuff in particular as well, because in our family, I don't want to buy my kids a lot of toys. If I have to spend my time organizing, it's not going to happen. Like everything has to go in a box. And that's why we tend to buy experiences instead of stuff. It works better because you have those memories, and don't think that you need to make a photo album of all those memories. Don't go down that rabbit hole. I've been there. You can just have the memory in your head and you don't have to deal with any of the stuff to sort through. You can use this for gifts for other people too. Buy them a ticket to the zoo or plan an outing at a restaurant and invite them to come along. It is so much better for your brain, and then you have less stuff to deal with as well. So that's number 1. Buy experiences, not objects. Number 2, use a timer for those things you don't want to do. So say you do have a big organizing job in front of you. You brought a lot of stuff home. Maybe you went to Costco. You saw a lot of good deals. You had to bring them. And now you have to sort through it all. And you don't want to. It's way too overwhelming. That pile of stuff just sitting on your counter. You look at it. You're like, nope. You turn the other direction and you put on Netflix. I'm totally with you. I'm totally with you there. So this is a strategy that I've taught my kids as well, who also tend to get overwhelmed too. And that's using a timer for the things you don't want to do. And how this typically looks is I used this when I was writing my books. It's the only way I got through it. I would set a timer for 25 minutes. And in my brain, I'm like, well, I will sit and write for 25 minutes. And if only garbage comes out, fine, only garbage comes out. But I'm not going to spend any more time than that. We'll reassess then. I would then set the timer. I would probably be looking at my screen for maybe 30 seconds to a minute. And then I would just start typing. And stuff came out. And some of that stuff was good and usable. And I just wrote the book like that in little 25-minute segments. That was the only way I could focus, and that was the only way I could really finish a big project like that. So you can use a timer for things around your house too. My son uses a timer when we tell him to clean his room. Just last night, we were going to go to Froyo, and he was asking for it. And he added this. He said, "Hey, if I clean my room by myself, can we get froyo?" And he said that, and I'm like, ooh, this gets me out of helping clean the room. Yes, let's do that. And so he said, okay, I'm just going to set a timer for 15 minutes and see how much I can get done. And the kid is 10. He did it. He set a timer. Room was cleaned. I got froyo too. It was a win-win. So use that timer. Teach your kids to use a timer for the things that you don't want to do. Number 3, body doubling. Oh my goodness. Have you heard of this strategy? This is when you have to work on a project. Maybe it is for work. Maybe it is decluttering. And all you do is you just have another person in the room doing the exact same thing you are. And that helps you focus. I don't know the science behind it, but I can tell you that it is a strategy that helps me immensely. We use it in our balance group as well for time blocking, where we sit down every Friday for 20 minutes and plan out our weekly calendar for the next week. We do it on a Zoom call, and so that is body doubling. It actually helps you stay focused and more productive. So see how you can use body doubling in your life as well. And after this break, we're going to get into our next tip about putting everything on autopilot.
My son is playing a game right now on his computer where he's a thief and the cops are after him. So I'm so excited about this new app, Give As We Grow, where instead of being the quote unquote bad guys, kids are practicing giving back.
That is so cool, Joanne. I really wish that there was something like this when my kids were younger that got them excited about giving back to others and helped them build a better understanding of what it really means to volunteer.
Give As We Grow is the first of its kind free educational mobile app for children ages 8 to 11 that teaches kids via fun, service-focused minigame quests to tap into their unique talents and interests to help others.
And did you know that studies show that there is a biological connection between generosity and happiness, and that volunteering improves people's physical and mental health? I mean, kids who volunteer typically do better in school and are less likely to engage in risky behaviors. And that is something that I think we all want for our kids.
Ready to spark a new movement in generosity? Find and download Give As We Grow for free in the App Store for Android and iOS. And for resources for the whole family, visit giveaswegrow.org.
Hey all, Bree here, and I wanted to share one of my favorite gifts to give during the holiday season, a Storyworth book. It is the most amazing gift ever. Storyworth is an online service that lets you create a special and unique gift of someone's story. I've given Storyworth books to both of my parents, and it has been their favorite gift, hands down. And did I mention it is so easy? Storyworth emailed my parents questions every week that I handpicked from their massive list of questions that they have. All my parents had to do was open their email and answer them. That easy. I asked my dad questions like, did you have any rules that you set for yourself as a parent, which you immediately broke? And he did. I even asked both of my parents, are you more like your mom or your dad? And they shared a lot of really amazing qualities that I didn't know about my grandparents at the time. Then at the end of the year, Storyworth compiles all of their answers, puts them into this gorgeous book that covers everything. My parents love showing us their books, and I personally love getting a chance to read them. With Storyworth, I am giving those I love a thoughtful and personal gift from the heart that preserves their memories and stories for years to come. Go to storyworth.com/NGM and save $10 on your first purchase. That's storyworth.com/NGM to save $10 on your first purchase.
So we already went through the first 3. Buy experiences, not objects. Use a timer for things you don't want to do. And body doubling. The 4th one is put everything you can on autopilot. This is so your brain doesn't get overwhelmed trying to make a multitude of decisions. So some things that I put on autopilot, I have my wardrobe, my clothing, my outfits on autopilot, meaning that I usually just buy shirts and jeans, and that's what I wear. I wear a cute little top and I wear a pair of jeans. Or, this one's a good one, jumpsuits. Jumpsuits are amazing, and they work in a professional environment as well. So that is one way I've automated and put my life on autopilot. Another way is eating. I eat the same thing basically every day. For breakfast, it's either overnight oatmeal or frozen Eggo waffles with some fruit on it. For lunch, we use this service called Factor, which is pre-prepared meals. So it's kind of like someone doing meal prepping for you, but it's an online company and they ship it and they're really yummy, but they make a great quick lunch as well. It's very filling. And then meal planning. I do the meal planning for dinners and I just recycle. I recycle meal after meal. We have a few meals in our house. We have hamburgers, which I'm probably going to make tonight, honestly. And it's just like a patty that we buy from the grocery store and I put it on the grill and I'm like, done. We have chili. We have burrito bowls where I mix up some ground beef with taco seasoning. I make some rice and then we put all the toppings like a burrito on it. It's really good for our kids too because they don't like the same ingredients we do, so they get to customize. And we buy Fritos with it. So that's another selling point of burrito bowls. So see how you can put your meal planning on autopilot by just having these really easy meals that you can rotate through and not have to give a second thought to. And number 5 is give yourself permission to drop what you can't handle. Give yourself the permission. You don't have to do everything. You're not meant to do everything. In our society, women are kind of forced into this caregiving role. Like that's what's expected of us. We are expected to take care of people. That is the bias our society has. So all this pressure you feel, that is just our cultural norms. Now, doesn't mean that we have to stick to those cultural norms. No. And that's why I want to make you very, very aware of them. In fact, those cultural norms are causing women a fair amount of stress because it makes us think we do have to do it all. We have to work a full-time job and we have to fulfill all these household duties while taking care of our kids, and it's just way too much. So give yourself permission to drop those things that, and I don't want to say the ones you can't handle because I think we're very competent. We can handle a lot. More like the things you just don't like to do. Don't feel guilty about dropping those. For me, one of them's cleaning. We have a wonderful cleaner who comes to our house every 2 weeks. I do not clean at all. And I would also say neither does my husband. We're partnered in that. We don't like cleaning. So we have outsourced that and allow that to happen. Now, did I feel really guilty for that at first? Yes, I did. We didn't have a cleaner growing up. Like that was a pretty, indulgent thing. I think that would be the word. And my mom did it all. And I saw my mom do it all and it was awful on her. You can give it up. You can give up cleaning. If you are in a place where you can get help in that, please give it up. Also, if you ever feel overstimulated, feel free to say no to events and parties where you know that'll happen, because your brain, especially when you have ADHD, is so special, but it also takes in so much information. I am one of those people who I'm watching a movie and if they make a mistake in the cut where, say, a character has been eating a piece of pie, I'm the first to notice if that pie magically reappears, like if a piece magically reappears in the next scene, and it takes me completely out of the movie, just because that is what our brains are designed to do when we have ADHD. We notice everything, and that can have a companion with overstimulation. So feel free to say no to those things. I went to a podcast conference. It was Podcast Movement, and they had the conference in this really large convention center room, and there were 7 stages in that room at one time, so that when you went to listen to one talk, you can overhear all of the noise in the background. By noon, I was done. I could not handle anyone else. I was feeling rageful. That should be a word. I was feeling rageful, and I knew it was because I was overstimulated. So when you feel like you're overstimulated, feel free to tap yourself out. Now, honestly, if you have younger children, that may be harder to do. It can still happen though. I used to do it with my son. I would just play a video or, gosh, what did he like to watch? Peppa Pig, probably. I'd put on Peppa Pig and then I'd go in the bathroom with the door open so that I can hear him just to get a break from all the noise. So that is 5 mom hacks for you that work with ADHD. Buy experiences, not objects, as much as you can. Use a timer for the things you don't want to do so that you can get them done in little chunks. Body double with someone else, be it through a screen or right there in person. Put everything you can on autopilot, and then give yourself permission to drop what you don't want to handle and let yourself be free of it. You have to practice that. The guilt still stays, it lingers, but the more you practice dropping those things, the easier it will become, I promise you. So remember, the best mom is a happy mom. Take care of you, and I'll talk to you later.
Are you looking for something to listen to with your whole family? Then check out 6 Minutes, produced and created by Gen Z Media. With over 200 twisty, cliffhanger-filled episodes, 6 Minutes tells the story of 11-year-old Holiday who is pulled from the icy waters with no memory of who she is or where she came from.
3 years ago, Brinley Pasternak helped the Anders family uncover the truth about Holiday's past. Now she'll need them to help her find the truth about hers. In 6 Minutes Out of Time, the long-awaited sequel, Cyrus Anders is found unconscious near the mysterious Elixir Academy in Florida, and Brinley learns the school may have a shocking connection to her missing mother.
Dive in now and get the most downloaded family audio adventure in history. Follow 6 Minutes wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen early and ad-free with the GZM family subscription.